Hello, my friends on YouTube. I'm glad that you can be here today. As you know, it takes a couple seconds for the people to start coming in on TikTok. So I hope you'll just bear with me. Or hey, you can even fast forward it since this is all on tape. Whatever you like. But thanks for being here. Nayeli. Is that how you say your name? Nali? Nayeli? It's interesting. I've never seen that before. Curious how you actually pronounce it. Hey, Domit, how you doing? How you doing? You got here real early. You're the second person in the room, and I think the first person already left because they were like, holy crap. Look who I'm talking to. You're not doing good. What's going down, man? What's going on? Problem with the pornography, I'm assuming. Why don't we talk about it a little bit? Hi, Paul. Glad you're here. Hi, Michael. Hello, Kitty. Weak moment last night. Well, you know. I always say let's do the relapse autopsy. What happened? You had a weak moment. What caused the weak moment? And I was good since before Thanksgiving. Okay, you had a weak moment after a month. You know, that's not any reason to crucify yourself. But what happened? How can you avoid that weak moment moving forward? That's what we have to figure out for you, Domit, is if you were able to go a month without relapse, you can say it's a weak moment, but there was a reason for that weak moment. And we got to, point our fingers to that. Hey, everybody, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this world of ours that we call the earth. If you wouldn't mind tapping up the likes while I explain who I am, I'd appreciate that. Please keep tapping up the likes. That helps very much in the early going of the live. Chris, 123, this is the last time I'm going to tell you this. We do not glorify pornography here. It's triggering, so we don't do it. Anywho, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Josh. I was a porn addict for 24 years. I was an alcoholic for 22 years. Thankfully, I have been clean and sober for the last 10 and a half years. Sorry, just getting rid of that douchebag. I have been clean and sober for the last 10 and a half years, relapse-free the entire time. I also have been working in this area for about 8 years. The first several years, I was an author. I wrote 4 books. Gave hundreds of interviews, did a TED Talk, spoke at schools, colleges, all that fun stuff. But then during the pandemic, I became a certified coach. I am certified in the areas of pornography addiction, in the area of betrayal trauma, and I am also a therapeutic disclosure specialist. Basically, what that means is that I can help the addict, I can help the partner, I can help the relationship as a whole. And you can help me by tapping up the likes. Tap, 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 tap up those likes. That helps early on. Just asking you nicely from one guy to one guy or girl, please tap the screen a few times. That gets us into the FYP page. That gets us into the suggested lives. People are much more likely to check out a live if it has 12,000 likes than 100 likes. So Domit says, I don't know. So I had clicked on a verified account on X that archives tweets because I'm looking to do that so I can get off Twitter. Understandable. I think that's something that most people should do. Sarah, thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate that very much. Appreciate all of you if you would share this. Appreciate it if you'd tap up some of those likes too. It's like the machine's broken today. But a link on their page, link to some Asian site that was kind of pornographic and it triggered me. What are you going to do the next time a porn site pops up? What are you going to do next time you're on, Twitter especially, and something pornographic pops up? Why do you think you were unprepared? What do you think it was? Just element of surprise? Why were you triggered at that moment would be my question. You got to dig a little deeper here with me. Just dig a little bit deeper here. Oh, good. Sandra's here. If Sandra's here means the likes are going to start going up. Yes, it was unexpected. Okay. So now can you adjust your strategy towards sobriety and recognize that it may pop up when you don't expect it? It may pop up when you're not looking for it. I got to tell you that, people say to me, have you not really seen pornography in almost 11 years? And it's no, of course I've seen pornography in the last 11 years. You can't avoid pornography in this world anymore. You simply can't. I mean, look for the early part of me doing this, when I was doing a lot of different interviews on podcasts and whatnot. People would send me pornography to my email box. I didn't use it as pornography, but it was still there. And I had to learn how to just hit delete. I had to learn how if a person comes on TV naked, I don't run into the bathroom and start doing other things that I shouldn't be doing. When you recover, you also have to adjust to a world where you are going to see pornography now and then. You are going to see pornography now and then. Or you're going to see things that might trigger you. If you go to a museum and there's a photography exhibit and it has some, nude models, is that going to trigger you? You may not know that's in the museum. You may be going there for some other exhibit and there you see that stuff. You've got to be ready that this stuff is going to pop up at just about any time. Aiden J. Monkey. I like the fact you put your middle initial in there, Aiden J. I deleted all the stems to it like Google, DuckDuckGo, Twitter, and such, and my life is amazing. That's fantastic, Aiden. And I'm sure your life is amazing, not just because the lack of pornography. I'm sure your life is amazing because you don't waste as much time in the digital reality universe. I have been, just in case TikTok does go away, I've been signing up for some accounts on a couple of other alternative kind of social media. And I can't keep up with it. And it's only like 4 of them. And I see these people going crazy all the time with their phones. It's like, I just don't know how you can do that and what you're missing. So I'm guessing that while it's great to be gone with the porn, it's also probably really nice to not be dealing with all of those other things that bring things down. Making sure I don't miss anybody. Hey there, cowboy. Hey there. Yahoo. Aiden, thank you for following me very, very, very much. I'm going to quickly reintroduce myself here. My name, as we've got a bunch of new people in here, my name is Josh. I was a pornography addict 24 years. I was an alcoholic 22 years. I have been clean and sober 10 and a half years now. I have written 4 books about pornography addiction and betrayal trauma. Several years ago, lots of speaking about it publicly. Several years ago, I became a full-time certified pornography addiction coach, betrayal trauma coach, and therapeutic disclosure specialist. So I work with the addict, I work with the partner, and I work with the couple as a unit. And I want to thank you, Sarah63SP, for following me. Thank you. I am here to answer any questions you may have about pornography addiction or addiction in general. I guess, or pornography in general. I also can answer any questions you may have about betrayal trauma. That is the reaction that many partners have when they discover that usually their husband or boyfriend, although it can go the other way, but usually their husband or boyfriend has been using pornography. And then the therapeutic disclosure part, that is helping couples communicate and work toward rebuilding trust. Because I'm sure, as you can understand, if you believe that your boyfriend or husband hasn't been using pornography and then you find out they have, that can cause some pretty deep problems. And like I said, 95% of the time, that is the female partner who gets betrayed. But those aren't the statistics with the pornography itself. I would say right now, probably 75% of my clients are men, and probably about 25% of my pornography addiction clients are women. So it does affect women. It does hit women. Want you to definitely know that. Dynaco says, when you decided to quit, was it in part due to a partner's wishes? Yeah. I mean, she was fed up with my addictions. Keep in mind, I was also an alcoholic. I also had just lost my job because of my drinking. I was able to hide the pornography a lot better because I was an alcoholic, and that's kind of obvious when you have that problem. Porn addiction's a lot easier to hide, frankly. But absolutely, she wanted me to get healthy. She wanted me to go to rehab. She wanted me to go to 12-step groups and figure out how to be the husband and father she knew I could be, the one she signed up to be with. So yeah, it absolutely had to do with my partner's wishes. I didn't want to lose my partner. There is no pornography that was more important than my partner, and no pornography that was more important than my kids. Because if we got divorced, I wasn't going to be getting. Let me just mute and block that dude. All right. See, safe place. We just get rid of the stupid people. So yeah, it was hugely to do with her. I didn't want her taking the kids in a custody battle, which, I wouldn't have battled her, but I knew I wouldn't have won. So yeah, I think that, probably even a bigger reason than me for quitting was her. Hey, Yappy Austin, sorry. Are there benefits of semen retention? No. Because here's the thing, it's not like you're going to keep semen in you that's, months old. It's not wine. It's not going to age in there. No, I've got a vintage 2018 semen. No, because here's the thing, your body reabsorbs semen every 18 to 21 days. So it's not, it's not like you, for a lot of guys who are like, well, I have to masturbate because I've got to get it out of there. I can't let it build up. Well, it doesn't build up. It recycles, it absorbs and creates new stuff. No, there are no benefits of it. There are no actual scientific, studied, measurable benefits of it. Some people, there are a lot of people who are into certain mysticism, who believe in things like tantric sex. But again, there's no scientific data behind that. If it makes you feel good, great, but there is no scientific basis for that. I've quit alcohol, cigs, and gambling, but no relationship. I think I'd rather just date myself. Well, I would say you've got rid of those vices. Now it's time to work on you as a person. How much therapy have you done? How much, to understand why you have all these things have you done? That's the most important thing. Just quitting these things doesn't really prove much, aside from the fact you can fast, you can diet. If you don't figure out why you were an alcoholic, if you don't figure out why you were a gambling addict, you probably won't end up in a relationship, Because all of these things, whether it's porn addiction, alcohol addiction, gambling addiction, these things are all just symptoms of a bigger problem. Have you asked yourself why are so many people able to have one or two beers but I can't? Why can so many people go into a casino, win $50, lose $50, walk away, but I can't? Why can so many people look at porn once, maybe twice a month, and that's all they need, but I need so much more? You need to be able to go back and answer the question, why did I become an addict? What was happening at the time I became an addict? Because you develop this coping skill using pornography. And it has nothing to do with being a pervert or being a dirty guy or, a sex fiend or anything, low morals. It has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that something was going on in your life and you used this pornography and it created a condition in your mind that you wanted to have happen again and again and again. That condition eventually became being addicted to pleasure chemicals. So there was dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. I don't know what this hairy dude is saying, but I don't want to hear it right now. Boo-boo. All right. We got stupid people today in here. I don't know why some of these people are so idiotic. But, ultimately, you've got to do the work to find out, how did I become this person? Why did I adapt this problem-solving skill? Why is this my only anxiety management skill? It's my only stress management skill. It's my only fear management skill is to use porn. What happened? Dinaco, however you say it. Still together after 10 years? Actually, we're still together after 21 years. I was an addict for the first about 10 and a half years of our marriage, and then I've been clean for about another 10 and a half. So it's been about half the marriage each way. Stress relief. What about it? Are you saying, is this a good reason to use? I don't understand what your question is. I'm addicted to corn. Well, keep listening. And if you have some specific questions, happy to answer them here. Dileski, in the beginning of your addiction, did you know how harmful corn is? Absolutely not. I was 12 years old. It was 1988. I was looking at Playboys. I got a thrill out of looking at naked ladies. And it didn't occur to me until years later when I was in high school that I watched it a bit differently than my friends. After a soccer practice in high school, we all went to a friend's house and they had a videotape of a porn and somebody put it in the VCR and everybody started cracking jokes like it was Mystery Science Theater 3000. Everybody started just having a good time and I was so uncomfortable and I didn't want to be watching this stuff with other guys and I found nothing funny about it. And that's when I realized something was different about me. I didn't really put together that it was an addiction at that point. I'd already been drinking several years at that point. And I think in a lot of ways, I always told myself that my porn use, despite the fact I started it before I started drinking, I always looked at my porn use as just a bad decision I made when I drank. It wasn't, I knew that it was a problem, but, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'd never really heard of addiction of pornography until right before I started to get help. Danako says, I agree there were symptoms of my self-shame and guilt. I hope that you have been talking to somebody who knows their stuff about this, because that's what you have to fix. That's what you have to heal. You can heal the physical part easy enough. You don't watch, you don't touch. But have you healed the reasons that you started in the first place? Have you examined the things that you were avoiding with pornography, how they played a role in your life? How did you become the man or woman that you are today? That's really the most important part of this. Hey, Sarah, I thought it was physical. Some people's brains are such that they can't stop drinking. A side effect of the alcohol is that you can disease your brain, disease your liver, disease your pancreas to a point that you can't come back. But that's not because of pleasure chemicals in your brain. That's the poison in the alcohol poisoning your brain. Same thing with your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas. So it's a little bit different there, from what I understand. I don't have, even though I was an alcoholic, I don't have the knowledge of alcoholism that I do with pornography. Yeah, Boston, is hypersexual disorder a learned behavior or is it genetic? You know, the jury is still out on that. It's being studied. My personal belief, after talking to lots of people when I was in recovery and talking to lots of people now as a coach, I would say that I think it's 1/3 DNA, genetic. I think it's 1/3 upbringing, your environment, and I think it's 1/3 your decision making, or your poor decision making, however you want to put it. So I think that those three things all combine with it. Might you have some hypersexual DNA? Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to act upon it. Might you have grown up in a sexually charged environment? Yes, but that doesn't mean you're going to end up a certain way. Like I said, I think making decisions has a lot to it. Nobody ever, I didn't go to many strip clubs in my life. That just wasn't my scene, but nobody ever forced me to. That was a behavior, that was a choice I made. So yeah, unfortunately, we are in the early days of this stuff and understanding it. We've only been really studying this stuff since around the time that high-speed internet started. We have no idea what effect this is having on the millions of people who started making porn at home. We have no idea yet exactly how people, how there's got to be a method upon which the mind heals and how long it takes and whatnot. We haven't figured that out yet. This is like it's 1910 and we're just starting to study alcoholism. We are in the Wild West right now when it comes to pornography addiction, and what we really know. Wow, 21 years is amazing. Thank you. Very well done. Wishing you another 21 full of love. I appreciate that very much. That's very kind to you. I hope we do too. It only gets better. It actually only gets better. And, when I was a 20-year-old guy, if I would have heard somebody say that, I would have been like, oh man, you're full of shit. But it's actually true. I was a shy and unsocial boy. That could be the first line of a lot of autobiographies or biographies of guys who ended up as porn addicts. Shy and unsocial, absolutely. Because you don't have to talk to the people on screen. You don't have to interact with them. You just control them with your keystrokes. It's something that a lot of shy, unsocial people find find peace with. Gibner, I didn't see your question, so you must have put a word in it that TikTok flagged. If you can maybe figure out what that word is and try to figure a way around it, happy to answer your question. Apologize that it didn't pop up. Mr. Smoothie Buns, Sarah says, okay, I see. All right, I'm glad that you, I hope that I gave you a decent enough answer. Mr. Smoothie Bun says, I want to have another one-on-one because I have a lot of memories that I've been surfing and want to talk. You literally could book me tonight, my friend. I know that East Coast time, I have a 7 o'clock open. I think I have a 9 o'clock open too. And then, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, everything's very wide open. So, yeah. Book. You know how to book. Book with me. If anybody else wants to book with me too, all you have to do is go to the front page of my profile. Up in the bio area, there is a couple links. Click on the link that says Calendly, and you'll get all the information you need about booking a session with me. You skipped my question. No, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. You, Gibner. Okay, I asked, is corn always a bad thing? I guess it depends how you're looking at it exactly. When it comes to morals or values, is porn good? Is porn bad? Is porn evil? Does porn have no, impact? I don't really make too much of an effort to get involved in that conversation. You have to decide what is morally okay. You have to decide your values. You also have to decide, is this an industry that I'm okay with supporting? And, even if you're not paying money to it, simply by watching it, you are contributing to the industry. You're contributing to the demand. You are contributing to the statistics for the site advertising on the, banner ads and whatnot. So you can say those are all bad things. But again, I don't make that my argument. When we're talking health-wise, is corn always a bad thing? Well, to be 100% honest, no. There are plenty of people who use very sparingly and don't have a problem with it. In fact, depending on what statistics you look at, women are somewhere around 6 to 14% of women who use porn are an addict, and with men, it's between 12 and 20%. So far fewer people are going to be porn addicts than people who are. However, your question, is it always a bad thing? No, but it's never a good thing. It's not going to make you healthier. It's not going to make you happier. It's not going to improve your health. But it's not always a bad thing depending on who you are and how you use. If you're one of these people who uses once a month, if you're using basically to get off because it is, I wish Oth was around so she could ban all these people. It's like gambling. I go to a casino probably 3 times a year. I have a rule where if I lose $50, I walk away. If I win $100, I walk away. If it's more than an hour, I walk away. Those are my boundaries, and I can keep them very easily because I don't have the DNA that makes me, or the life experience that makes me a gambling addict. I can get why you become one, but I don't have that in me. Are my 3 trips a year to the casino unhealthy? I don't think so. I know they're not healthy. They don't make me, stronger. They don't make me, have better cardio. But it's negligible with people who are, not using it very, very much. And yeah, like you said, you've used it sparingly or single is for visual purposes. Most people use porn to get off. And that's, there are a lot of people who use more porn between relationships than when they're in one. This is not how addicted people use it. You know, addicted people, it has very little to do with sex, it has very little to do with getting off. People who are addicts and use, it's not that we get horny that much more. It's not that we like body parts that much more. It has very little to do with that. We're chasing the brain chemicals. This is just the way we know how to get them. Hello, Rascal. Is quitting cold turkey safe? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's difficult, but you can do it. And that's how I did it. I had to quit porn and alcohol at the same time. And I knew that if I didn't quit at the same time, I probably wasn't going to end up being successful either way. One fed into another. I couldn't quit one at a time. I couldn't try to taper one at a time. I knew I had to quit full bore. I had to just wipe it out. And thankfully, my stubborn streak and my personality allowed me to do that. I'm one of these people that when I set my mind to something, even if it's difficult, even if it's irrational, I'm going to get it done, good or bad. I guess that's the bipolar in me. So I was able to quit cold turkey. I will tell you, though, that when my clients try it, 90% of the time, it's not successful. Yeah, around 90% of the time, it's not successful. I'm actually working right now on creating a workbook for people who want to taper off over like 6 weeks. I'm trying to work on a component where we create an individualized calendar for every person who uses the workbook. Hoping it'll be out by the end of January for people who want to taper down, because that's how most people are able to. It is a jolt not having those chemicals, but it's not going to hurt you. It's hard having those urges. It's hard having those triggers, but you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Some people have some withdrawal symptoms. Some say they feel sad. Some say they kind of get a brain fog. Some say they get very tired. A lot of people have no withdrawal symptoms. So, it's kind of very individualized. Hi, Terry. I watch porn. I'm really struggling, coach. What do? I just joined your live. What's the consequences? Well, Terry, I hope you'll follow me, and I hope you'll spend some time going through my videos, because I probably answer a lot of your questions there. As far as what the consequences are, the consequences of porn addiction can be different than the consequences of gambling addiction or drug addiction or whatever addiction you may have. So you have to look at each addiction having its own side effects, such as with porn addiction, odds are you're going to have erectile dysfunction than if you're a gambling addict. What I would actually suggest to you, Terry, is to go and take the quiz I have on my front page. Up in the pinned videos at the top of my front page, one is called The 11 Symptoms of Porn Addiction. And what you can do is you can take that quiz and really discover how bad your addiction is. What level do you have it? And like I said, while there are the specific side effects of this addiction, you have to look at how long will I be live? What time is it right now? Anybody? Can anybody tell me what time it is on the East Coast? And then I'll be able to answer that for you. BF Graped. So if someone tells me what time it is on the East Coast, I can tell you. But go take that quiz. 17:45. That would make it's 2:45 on the East Coast. No, that's wrong. That's 5:45. So are you in like the UK? So I can then work that back to be 12. No, you wouldn't be in the. Where would it be 5:45 right now? I don't know. I'm not going to worry about this. If someone 10:45. Okay, so where are you? 2:45 in the crib. Just somebody give me the damn East Coast. Um, I will be on till probably about. Okay, this is what happens when nobody answers my questions. It's 1:45 where I live. I will be online as long as the questions keep coming for another 45 minutes or so. Hey, John, good to see you. Okay, let me wind back to where we were. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry that I moved stuff around. That never makes the world a better place. Thank you for bearing with me a moment. You're all very kind. Okay, so how long will I be live? Another 45 minutes or so. Got me scheduled for tomorrow at 6. Excellent. Looking forward to seeing you, Smoothie Buns. Earthbound Boy, are you against corn use only or against masturbating without using corn? I'm against both if you're an addict, because you can say that you're not looking at porn, and while you may not be, you are probably still processing sexual images, and that's where the problem actually is. The problem is not that you look at porn. The problem is that your mind processes images of porn and then creates the chemical reaction. That's what you're really after. And I can prove this, and some of you have been here before have heard this, but most people like to say, no, I don't think about sexy stuff when I'm masturbating. I don't picture things. Okay, 90% of people do, and I'll give you a perfect example here. Close your eyes. Everybody, this isn't going to be gross or anything. Everybody close your eyes, close your eyes. Earthbound Boy, close your eyes. Grape Me, Smoothie Buns, close your eyes. Terry, close your eyes. Everybody's eyes are closed. Okay. I do not want you to picture a giraffe. I do not want you to picture a giraffe. Do not picture a giraffe. I don't want you imagining a picture of a giraffe in your head. Now I want to make sure that you're not picturing a giraffe with a funny blue hat. Make sure you're not picturing a giraffe with a funny blue hat. That giraffe you're not looking at does not have a funny blue hat on. Okay, everybody can open their eyes. 90% of you saw a giraffe wearing a blue hat. Those of you who didn't had to work hard and think about other things to not see it. So when you are masturbating and not looking at pornography, your mind is still processing those kinds of images, because that's what people think about when they're using. So it's causing the same chemical reaction that the pornography is. That's really what we're after stopping here. Yeah, your partner will want you to not look at this stuff ever again. You probably don't want to look at this stuff ever again because of the taboos and what it means in society. But ultimately, we're trying to get you unhooked on those chemicals. And if you are just, self-pleasuring, but not looking at the porn, the same thing is still happening in your brain. So you have to be able to quit both. Smoothie Bun says, I'm nervous to talk about what happened, but I've got to stop this. You don't have to be worried about talking. You don't have to be worried about talking to me about anything. Thank you, Coach. You're welcome. Again, hello, John. Good to see you. Hope you had a swell holiday. Dawson, thank you for following me. I've always enjoyed your creek. Thank you for sharing the live, Terry. It was a cute giraffe. Yep. I failed that. Yep, that was so hard. Damn. Yeah, exactly. I was seeing an elephant, then a giraffe. Yeah, that's the thing. And think about it. If you are actively trying to not think about something, how could you be self-pleasuring and then working very hard to not think about porn? I just don't see how it's possible. I just don't see how it's possible. Thank you for following me, Mimic Tear. Thank you very much. I was seeing elephant and giraffe. John, I didn't see a giraffe with a funny blue hat. I saw a giraffe with a regular blue hat. That is an answer I would expect from you, John, and it's actually very funny. But bad news, John, is that those regular hats you're wearing are actually very funny. How do we rewire our brain to be less sexual? My giraffe was awesome. I bet his hat was awesome too. How do we rewire our brain to be less sexual? It's a process. The first two things that you have to be willing to do are not look at pornography and not self-pleasure. Those are the first two things. Then you have to be really freaking patient because the physical side of things takes a while to heal. I've seen people start healing at 3 months. I've seen people take up to 2 years to finish. Depends on who you are. Some people are done at 6 months. Some people don't start to see differences till 6 months. You also need to do the mental part of it. Why did you become so sexual? Did something happen in your life that made you compulsively sexual? Is it a response to something negative that happened in your life? Why did you become the person you are today? How did you become the person you are today? What incidents, what people, what circumstances, what experiences shaped you into who you are today? These are really important questions that, addict or not, everybody should answer. And if I can help you, whether it's to calm the behavior or if I can help you deal with the mental health side, I did a lot of work to know what I'm talking about. I would love to have a session with you. Visit the front page of my profile like Mr. Smoothie Buns did. Check on my links. One of them says Calendly, and you can learn how to book with me right then and there. And thank you for following me, Drip. Appreciate it very, very much. Yap Austin says, if we happen to view it, does it reset, set back? How long does it take to rewire? That's one of those questions we don't have the answer to just yet. If I've gone 1 month without using porn and then I view porn for 5 minutes, what does that do? I don't know. Probably not a lot of damage, but what if you start watching 5 minutes every day? Yeah, I'm going to guess your brain is going to go right back to where it was. Start masturbating. Yeah, your brain's going to go right back to where it was. It's like if you have a cut that's healing and then you take a knife and just slice open the cut again. Well, how much healing? Any healing you did is negated. So, like I said, on the physical side of things, you can't stop that flow of chemicals and then just turn it on and off at will. It's off more than it's on now. I used to use 5 times a week. I only use 2 times a week now. That's not how this works. You've got to not be pouring gasoline on the fire that is your brain damage. Pornography addiction is a disease. It's a disease because it changes your brain's chemistry. That's a real good analogy. Thanks. Appreciate that, Austin. That's kind of how I tell stories is using analogies. Rascal, thank you for the hot pepper or chili. Appreciate the gifts. Anybody else here wants to give me gifts, I'll happily take them. I don't make my living trying to get gifts like so many people who do lives, but obviously I will always appreciate them. Hey, Gabs, do you think all this step stuff is influencing people or has influenced people to do such stuff? Probably not. We're humans. We're humans. Some of us are going to make mistakes even when we're told not to. Some of us are going to grow up in places where it doesn't, certain orders are not this, or systems aren't the same as elsewhere. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that I have a feeling it's more a mirror of how society is than how corn has made us. incest, faux cest, all of these different fantasies of family members. I mean, Jesus, go back and look at Game of Thrones. I know it's not, historically accurate, but go back and look at Roman and Greek times, and incest was very regular. So I think that has always been a taboo, that's always been out there. But now with the privacy of the delivery of porn, it's a lot easier to get into fantasies you may have without other people knowing. Do you want to rent a porno that, has a family member in the title while you have to look at somebody, who's checking you out? Do you want to buy a magazine with somebody who has to, type it into the cash register? Or can you just see a video streaming to you and no one will ever know? Well, obviously, everything you ever do on the internet is recorded somewhere, but there is the safety of anonymity. So my guess is that it's just a matter of who we already are in society, who we already are as a species of animal, and it's just a matter of certain people can indulge that in a way that they couldn't before. Peyton Margetts, glad you're here. Jesus helps. Trust me, he really does. Stay blessed, everyone. Thank you, Peyton. I appreciate you sharing that. And, religion and spirituality can help many people in their recovery. It can be one of the motivations. It can be one of the sources of strength that people need. But I also don't want anybody to believe that if you are an atheist, if you are agnostic, if you aren't religious, if you aren't spiritual, that you can't heal. Because I have seen plenty of people with no deeper belief system who have recovered. How do I last longer, Unc? Well, I would guess that you probably should use your left hand. Sarah, 63, what should you do instead? Go outside, go on walks? You should be prepared in any situation. I tell people to come up with a list of 10 things. And come up with a list of, okay, if you love the outdoors, what are 10 things I can do outdoors? But what if it's raining or snowing or windy or whatever? Make a list of 10 things you like to do indoors. Make a list of 10 things you like to do at night. Make a list of 10 things you can do during the day. Make a list of 10 places you can go. It doesn't really matter what you're doing as long as you're not doing this, and as long as you're not doing another unhealthy behavior that is in service to those chemicals. But pretty much just about anything else, is going to be better. And there are millions of things to do. Go learn to play the violin. Buy a set of watercolors and learn to do that kind of painting. Anything else you can do. And one of the best things is to make those lists now, while you're not feeling the urges, while you're not feeling the triggers. Because when you are, you're not going to just stop yourself at that point. But if you're prepared, the urges are going to come again. The triggers are, maybe 10 minutes away, maybe 10 days away, but they're going to come back. Be prepared. Be prepared. Ayo, Sam. Do you think I look like you? I have a pic of me in my PFP. Chris, I can't really see with how small it is, but I suppose I can look afterwards. Well, I have to save battery waiting on a call from insurance and DMV. Oh yeah, I hope the crash thing is going okay, John. Save your battery. Good luck to you. Gabs, hey. So you think this step stuff is because a lot of people have such fantasies but never act it out? Yeah, Yeah, and I hate to admit that because it's, gross, it's taboo, but uh, why would this have been done in society? Like plenty of historical proof that whether it was, step or not, this kind of family relations did not stop a lot of sexual activity. At some point, society decided this was wrong or weird or gross or however the process came along that you don't do this anymore with people within your family. But if that was 200 years ago, 300 years ago, that's 7, 8 generations tops. The brains of people haven't evolved that much. So it makes me think that, those, in some people, that's still going to be part of their reptile brain, of their, primordial ooze level brain, that they, do not let the boundary of familial relations stop them. And there are a lot of people I have spoken with, both men and women who are addicts who watch this stuff, and many just say they like it because it shows younger people. It shows older teenagers. It shows people in their 20s. They don't really even care what the relationship is between the actors because they know it's fake. So it doesn't really count. I don't know. It's so popular that I have trouble thinking there's probably any one reason for it. But it is something that needs to be talked about because, the hub would have us believe that MILF was the number one search term last year. And while that may be true, if you put in every step relation, if you put in every familial relation, it would be the number one category by far. But they know how to work their way around it. You go to some of the major websites, you can't type in the INCST word. And I'm just saying it because I don't want to get banned on here. You can't type in that word because, they won't let you see any videos or name any videos with that word. That way they can say, no, we don't have those videos on our site because that word is not associated. Dose my skin. I don't have anything to dose you with, but if you can find something, you ride that rainbow, my friend. Termski. Need more people like you, truth be told. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you agreeing with him, Sarah. This is why a lot of people like seeing me as a coach, because I have a very low tolerance for bullshit. And that means some people don't like working with me. Some people like to be able to lie to their practitioner. Some people like to be able to, come and go as they please and not be called out. And what you see with me is what you get. And for the people who it clicks with, for the people who I have helped over the years, it's wonderful. And if you think I can help you at all, if you want to try it out, go ahead and check the front page of the profile. Up in the links, there's one that says Calendly. You can get all the information about booking with me, whether it's for porn addiction or whether you're a partner dealing with the betrayal trauma. Jello, whatever. Be honest, is it bad for 2 times a week for my mental health? I can't tell you for sure because I'm not you. Do you think it's bad for your mental health? Does it cause problems? It certainly isn't going to help your mental health at all. I have had clients who use only twice a week and are addicted. And I have had people who have visited me who use 3 or 4 times a week who, by every measurement possible, are not addicts. It really has to do with what it's doing to you. And what I would suggest to you, Jello, is to go to the front page of my profile, the pinned videos. Up at the top, one of them says the 11 symptoms of corn addiction. And I would suggest you watch that one and count along with the symptoms, and then you'll really see where you are at the moment. Be honest with yourself. You'll see where you are. And if it turns out that you are an addict, at least you know now and you can start to get some help. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Please keep tapping up the likes. Please keep tapping up those likes. I appreciate that very much. That always helps people who are going through the suggested lives or the FYP to see people are interested. Yeah, enjoy it, Sarah. Enjoy the video. It's in the upper right, I believe, of the three pinned videos. Thanks for tapping up those likes, Gabs. I appreciate it very much. What is Gabs short for? What is Gabs short for? I'm trying to figure that out. Anyway, hey, are you still here, Domit, or did you leave and come back? Thank you for liking the live either way. Gabriella, okay. I was going to guess Gabrielle, and then I didn't want to. So I was close. That was actually one of the final names. Gabriella was one of the final names that we had if my son had been a girl. So Gabriella, okay. I'll keep calling you Gabs. I call everybody by their name on here. A lot of times there are people who are my clients who are in here, and I always call them by the name they have here, so not to out them. How do I get to the 11 question? Go up here and click that corn coach. That should bring you to my front page. On my front page, you're going to see all my videos. In the top 3 videos, there's a little push pin in the side of them. I think the one on the far right says the 11 symptoms of corn addiction and has my pretty face in it. I think they all have my pretty face in it. Yeah, that would be the one. Just listening and trying to take it all in. No, I appreciate that, Domit. I appreciate the fact that while I share a lot of the same information from live to live, that you're here. I appreciate that you get this stuff reinforced. I know there are a lot of people here, and I'm not saying you're one of them, but I know there are a lot of people here who this is the extent of the help they get. And I suppose me talking in generalities is better than nothing. And I know some people, even though I am about 25% as expensive as a traditional therapist, some people still can't afford that. And that's fine. I'm just glad that there are people who show up again and again and again and again. Even if you're hearing the same information, it never hurts to have the information reinforced. Gabs, do you think corn is causing people to be inspired by it? That's a really interesting question, and I don't think so. I think what's happening is that social media is inspiring people to try to get famous, to try to stick out, to try to be special. There is so much of an emphasis on being an influencer. It's kind of funny. My daughter doesn't care anymore. But like 3 years ago, my daughter was trying to be an influencer online, and her dad had, 20 times the amount of followers. I think that we have seen sexuality in our society become more liberal. For instance, when I was in high school, we're going back to the mid-90s. When I was in high school, if somebody had like a photograph or a Polaroid picture of the super sexy, football quarterback and his super sexy cheerleader girlfriend, and they were at the beach wearing next to nothing, that picture would have got passed around at lunch like it was a joint. Everybody would have wanted to see that picture. Well, let's fast forward, 25 years. Where are we now? On Instagram, it seems like it's almost expected that every 15, 16, 17-year-old with a half decent body is going to have half naked pictures of themselves on there. Now, is that pornography causing kids to do that? I don't think so. I think it's just trying to keep up with each other. And I think that we are now in a society, keep in mind the what do you call it? High speed internet has been around now for 20, 25 years. So most, these kids don't have any idea of a world before that. I was raised on trying to get my hands on Playboy magazines. Playboy magazine, which is pretty darn tame when it comes to pornography. It's, very well lit, photoshopped pictures of women who are professional models. It's not like a lot of what you find online with amateur people actually having sex with one another. So what kids are exposed to these days is much, much harder core. So I don't think nudity is that big a deal for kids these days. With so much nudity on the internet, I don't think kids worry about what the future is if they put photos of themselves out there. And I would urge everyone to watch the Girls Gone Wild documentary on Peacock so you can see what happens to women who, 30 years ago put 10 seconds of themselves out there, much of just being nude, much less full-on sexual activity. So what we have these days is we have a drop in our taboos when it comes to nudity and sexuality. A girl or a guy on the, day before they turn 18, they're wearing a bikini top, in pictures because legally they have to. Well, what's the difference between that day and the next day when they turn 18? They can take their bikini top off. Or if it's a guy, he can take his shorts down and now he can make money. And if you don't have any problem showing people your body, you will not have any problem selling pictures of your body. And we've seen that. The pandemic. When the pandemic started, you go back to January 1st, 2020, there was roughly 300,000 content creators on OnlyFans. Fast forward to January 1st, 2024, just 4 years later, and there's 3.1 million content creators. That's 2.8 million more people selling naked pictures or pornography of themselves online on just one site than there had been 4 years earlier. And for every one of those people, there are 20 to 25 consumers. It doesn't exactly average out. Did you know that the average OnlyFans model makes $180 a month? That's it. That's all. But yes, I do. I think, and I also think that you start out on a lot of those sites teasing, and cam sites too, and these sites like OnlyFans and Fansly. I think that it starts out tame. I think you tell yourself, and I say this based on having interviewed many of these models, whether they're new or they've been doing it a while. It starts out as a money grab. It starts out tame, and you realize you have to keep up with the competition. Eventually, you're not the new person anymore. Eventually, you have to make it a little bit dirtier. You have to escalate things to keep the same user base. It's not easy. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. It's a very challenging thing to do. And I think, at the end of the day, I think, you Your body doesn't hold up anymore. You realize you don't want to do it anymore. And then at the end of it, what's out there? There's plenty of sexual material of you out there. Now, will it be a big deal in 20 years that there's a nude picture of you out there? Probably not, because there will be nude pictures of so many people, but can't say that for sure. Like I said, if you look at the great documentary that Peacock put out about Girls Gone Wild, and it's not graphic at all. The problem with a lot of these types of documentaries is that they try to get some nudity in it, so you'll watch kind of like a hack or a backdoor way to showing you nudity by making it a documentary. This isn't like that at all. But there is a woman in there who showed her breasts at spring break in like 1992 or 1993 for 9 seconds. Now, they did use her picture on the cover of that particular Girls Gone Wild DVD or whatever it was, the VHS tape they were putting out. So we're on the television commercial for it. When they showed the box, they showed her. And we all know the internet's here, and the internet has all of the Girls Gone Wild stuff out there. Plus they sold millions of tapes. Plus, the reality is this woman doesn't look a ton different than she did when she was at spring break that year. She's still a good-looking woman. She says just about every single day of her life, somebody comes up to her and wants to ask about Girls Gone Wild or ask her to lift her top or do something like that. And that's from having 9 seconds in the video and being on the cover of it. And that was 25 years ago, or maybe even longer now. Maybe it was 30 years. Who knows? 9 seconds on a videotape cover. And the stuff is still out there of her. She says, people can still watch it every day. She cannot erase it from the internet. She's tried. She's hired people to try to scrub it, but it's porn. It's the internet. Nobody has control. So to get back to your question, Gabs, I think that the overall less taboo nature of sexuality in society is all part of this. There's more porn, so we're being desensitized to it. Is the porn getting crazier because we're being desensitized? Yes. Does that mean that, something that might have been super hardcore 30 years ago is considered tame today? Yes, by society standards. Society standards change, they ebb, they flow. Throughout history, there have been times where we have been a super hypersexual society and times that we have been super puritanical and super conservative. I think that for the most part, since the 1960s, we have seen a pretty steady evolution of sexuality and pornography. Ironically, if you look at Generation Z, which have the numbers for, they are having less sex than Gen X or the Boomers or Millennials. And, Boomers who are in their 60s are having more sex than, people who are Gen Z in their 20s. I think this has a lot to do with pornography. I think this has a lot to do with trauma. I think there's a lot of these, stories where, you can't just point the finger at pornography. You just can't point the finger at only social media or the way we raise our kids or whether things are getting liberal or conservative. I think it's a stew. It's society, it's culture. And the one way that you can control it is to control yourself and when you have children, to raise them to control it too. I think that's basically the power that you have. And I think that, but we finally have seen in the last decade teen smoking rates drop. Well, we've been putting out material for 30, 40 years trying to get it to drop. It takes time, but if you do the grassroots thing, if you start with your kids, if your kids then start with their kids, this is how we get there. Alcoholics Anonymous is nearly 100 years old. It takes a while to get places. It takes a while to study things. It takes a while to understand things. And we are still in the Wild West when we are to understand pornography, understand images of sexuality, understand, how this all works in concert with larger societal ills or just larger societal evolution. That was a very long answer, Gabs. That was a very long answer. I don't know if you're still here, but I hope that made sense to you. I sometimes like these philosophy questions more than how do you just quit porn, because these are the questions we have to answer. These are the questions that we have to address if we're going to address pornography addiction. Let me enjoy my beverage. Can somebody tell me what time it is on the East Coast, please? Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, just curious what time it is on the East Coast because I have a session coming up very soon. 2:22, thank you. 2:22, thank you. Appreciate that. I'll probably go about another 10 minutes and then I'm going to grab something to eat. 2:22, thank you, Sarah. In New Jersey. Okay, cool. I'm actually in Maine. Are you seeing any drones? Are you seeing all the drones? Anywho, allow me to introduce myself one final time, and then, like I said, we'll wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, now is a great time to ask them. So for those of you who did just get here recently and don't know who I am, my name is Josh. I was a porn addict 24 years. I was an alcoholic 22 years. I have been clean and sober for 10 and a half years, no relapses. I have been working in this area for about 8 years now. The last 5 years, I have been a full-time coach dealing with pornography addiction, dealing with betrayal trauma, and also working as a disclosure specialist with couples. I'm here for a few more minutes to answer any questions you may have about pornography addiction, addiction in general, betrayal trauma, trauma in general. And if you do think you could benefit from some one-on-one time with me, the front page of my profile, up at the top, you can check out the links. The one that says Calendly will give you all the information. Sarah, did you watch the video? What did you think of the video? Did you count along? Does that help you understand the symptoms more? I'm always curious. I tell people to go view that video all the time, and then I never hear any real feedback on it. Probably time to make a new one. That video is like 1.5 years old, and since I now have so less hair and so much less beard, probably time to update the look. Which video? I have a video on the front page of my profile that is called The 11 Symptoms of Porn Addiction. If you go check out my profile at the top where those pinned videos are on everybody's account, you will see that, I've got a couple that are in the million, 8, 9 million. And then I have one that says the 11 symptoms of porn addiction, or corn addiction, as we have to write it. If you watch that, I go through the symptoms. You can count along with yourself and determine whether you have enough symptoms to be considered an addict of pornography. And if you don't want to put that label on yourself, don't. If you don't care and don't want to get help, don't. I'm just here to educate. I'm just here to tell you the way it is. And you can make your own decisions after that. I hope that you're all following me. If you're not, please do. That will let you know when I will be live. That will let you know when I am doing these. During the week, I tend to do them more during the day. During the weekend, Friday, I tend to do these more at night. What are the symptoms? There are 11 symptoms. I would suggest you go watch the video, Penis Holder, because it takes a couple minutes to get through all of them. So yeah, go, just click on my name up here. Go to the, is it true you, go to my front page, check out the pinned videos. Is it true you have to replace it with something else? Well, it's only true in the fact that if you spend half an hour a day using it, you've got to do something else with that half hour. But no, it's not like, you don't want to replace it with something that's just going to keep you addicted. You don't want to go from doing this to using video games 6 hours a day. You don't want to do this to go to, suddenly eating 10,000 calories a day. Because we're still, it's the mind we're trying to fix here. It's not that, you love naked people so much more than everybody else. That's why you're an addict. You're addicted because of the brain chemicals. So to replace it, you don't want to replace it with something else that causes those brain chemicals, because that will, while it's a different addiction technically, it's the same thing going on in your head. Replace it with something else? I mean, yeah, I used to use 30 minutes to an hour every day. Now I don't. So what am I doing during that 30 minutes? I don't know. Watching TV, working, eating, sleeping. It's not like you have to say, okay, corn is out of my life. I am now going to take up skateboarding. Corn is out of my life. I'm now going to, learn, I'm going to start smoking cigarettes. Yes, you replace the time, but you don't have to pick a hobby. You don't have to do anything like that. No, you don't have to replace it with something else. It's just that by the nature of not doing it, you'll be doing something else. And try to make healthy decisions, Try to make healthy decisions. At the end of the day, I say that all of recovery can be boiled down to one question. Am I making the healthy choice? Am I making the healthy choice? All right, kids, unless anybody has anything else, I am going to call it an afternoon on here because I got other stuff to do and got some sessions to do. I might be back later. I don't know if I'd bet money on it, but I might be back later tonight. Who knows? Just make sure you're following me so you can always be updated when I am going live. I want to thank you all for being here. You have a good one too, Cole. I hope you have a great day. I hope the rest of you have a great day or night or morning, wherever you happen to be on this planet. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you.